Good afternoon. Thank you for the invitation, for this opportunity to present the talk on the health risks of climate change in China, known and unknown. I'm from China CDC, and would like to talk about this topic through several issues: climate change, research on climate change and impact on health, and health risks of climate change in China, and the unknown and the opportunities to adapt and to mitigate climate change in China. Yes, the climate change is a hot topic, and we all know the Earth has a fever as with several characteristics, especially for the global surface average temperature going up, and also the China seen the similar situation in the last century, and it's much severe than the average of the global level. And you may see this slide is from the south to north. We've seen the different category of the rise of temperature in the future. For the worst is in the northwest region of China. And the IPCC provided the conceptual diagram for the climate change impact on human health through the environment condition and the social infrastructure and also the health system and the infrastructure. So it will affect the human health. For China government, the Ministry of Science and Technology also set up the project to assess the climate change impact on human health in China and to seek the adaptation mechanism for health. For this project, we try to assess the impact of the climate change on the human infectious disease and non-infectious disease, and also the impact of the extreme climate events for health, and we try to identify the characteristics of vulnerable population in China, and also the most of the vulnerable areas in China, such as the different climate zone and different landscape. And we also try to establish a response and adaptation strategies for some specific and typical climate-sensitive disease or the extreme climate events, such as the heat waves. This map showed where we select the different sites for different extreme climate events for the heat waves, cold snap, and the floods, cyclone, and the droughts, and the sandstorm. And we also try to assess the climate-sensitive disease profiles for the infectious disease and the non-infectious disease in China. And based on this study, we got the climate-sensitive disease profiles in China. And also we identified the vulnerable populations characteristics, and we also got some disease burden of some typical climate-sensitive disease in China. And the also, we find some places is really vulnerable, much severe than the others. So we quite different from different climate zone, a different landscape. For example, for the highlands in Tibet, is most vulnerable for the global warming, and the local population got the high risk for some disease. And we try to establish an adaptive mechanism for some climate-sensitive disease such as dengue and such as the heat waves. You may see these slides provide the profiles of the climate-sensitive disease for the infectious disease, malaria, dengue, and the all the some of the vector-borne disease, and also some of waterborne disease, and even for some respiratory disease. We also have some of the profile for the chronic disease, such as the cardiovascular disease, arterial heart disease, COPD, etc. For the extreme weather and extreme weather and climate events, for example, flood, drought, we also got the profiles for the sensitive, most of the sensitive infectious disease, and also we also got the profiles of the most of the sensitive chronic disease for heat waves and the cold snaps. Yeah, we also try to project some disease, such as dengue. This is an example. We try to identify the hospitals and to try to screen and identify the key climate factors and also the environment factors, and to establish the model for projection and prediction, and then we can get the dynamic maps for this disease. We also assess the adaptation capacity and try to strengthen the adaptation capacity for this disease. Okay, you may see this is based on our model for the different scenarios of ICP 4.5, ICP 6, and ICP 8.5 for the 2030, 2050s. This slide showed the vector mosquito, Aedes albopictus. Their high suitable area is red, and the medium suitable area, the yellow, and the blue is the low suitable area. So based on this, we can see all this high risk, medium risk, or the low risk is increased and expanded to northwest China due to the global warming. And based on this mosquito and also on the other factors, we can got these risk maps. Risk maps, for example, for the RCP 8.5, we may see about 77 billion people will become the most affected or the populations. This will be doubled compared to the local and the current situations. And this will become big public health events in the future. And in the recent years, we also seen the much more outbreaks of this disease. And for the heat risks, we also got the different scenarios for the different time zones. And for example, in 2080, 301 counties will become high-risk area from the low-risk area. So it is compared to the 2000 level. There are lots of heat-related diseases. This map, this slide show the heat-related cardiovascular deaths. On the average, the heart-related excessive mortality will increase by 80.7, 11.7, 6.2, and 15.5% in 2030s. And 11.5, 25.7, 26.6, and 47.6 in 2080s, and the ICP 2.6, 4.5, 6, and 8.5 respectively. Aging people is the most vulnerable population for the for heat. You may see the heat-related mortality risk and the different scenario. For example, for the ICP 8.5, by the 2080s in Beijing, there will be 14,401 heat-related deaths per year for the elderly. It is 264.9% increase compared with the 1980s level. We also, through this project, we also know some of the risks, but it's still a small proportion, I think. I think the perception of the public and the local government to climate change for health risk is very low, and it's not sufficient. And there's less evidence from the rural area, because most of our study is focused on the urban area. And for the rural area, we have less study and less resources, especially for the data. And the health risk assessment of climate change from a national level, the whole nation is still lack of fund, and we cannot get the whole picture of China. And there are also some health co-benefits of greenhouse gas mitigation. But we also have some opportunities. So less air pollution locally from a shift to clean energy. Now the national government have a strong policy for this. We try to shift from the air polluted to the clean, much more clean clean country. And health benefits from contract and converged approach to meet consumption is also a policy to promote this low carbon transition. And the warmer and the drier homes, the areas energy efficient will be benefit for health. And also the health and the social benefits from the increasing urban green spaces is popular, is quite popular in the city, the urban planning. Yeah. So based on this project, we also apply and got another project is supported by the British Embassy. It's called the China Prospective Strategy Program Fund. This project named the Perceptive Assessment of Health Risks caused by climate change, air pollution, and health co-benefits of low carbon transition in China. And this is also finished with a lot of funding, and some of them is submitted for publication. And you may see this for this conference, we presented this paper. You can you can read and find some information, very interesting information. There's some policy implications. First is the promote and the education and the awareness of the health co-benefits of greenhouse gas mitigation. It will benefit for the low carbon transition policy. And it also will benefit the multidisciplinary integrated mitigation for different sectors. And also it may also attract more financial and technology assistance for this purpose. The last step is things for the health professionals. I think we could play a very important role in combating with climate change and greenhouse gas emission. And individuals are increasingly being urged to do their bit in battle with global warming. Thanks to the national and the local health and family planning commission and the development and the reform commission, environmental protection department, and the weather bureaus. Thanks to the funding for the most and the SPF funding from UK. Thank you. Thank you very much.